All right, this update is brought to you by Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. We'll start with the Aztecs. They're back in action tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. 7 p.m. tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage starts versus St. Catherine. Good news, Jaden Ledee is expected to return from his shoulder injury. Monday Night Football tonight. Eagles versus the Seahawks in Seattle. Jalen Hurts is expected to play tonight. He was dealing with a sickness, and Steelers' DeMonte Casey has been suspended for the rest of the season by the NFL for his late hit, or just his regular hit, on wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. over the weekend. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Sports Wrap continues on this Monday afternoon with Derek Togerson at NBC7. We got a really good show lined up for you over the next 3 hours. San Diego State's new offensive line coach, Bill O'Boyle, who has worked with the new Aztec head coach, Sean Lewis, will join us at 4 p.m. J.R. Tolver, Aztec for Life, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. There's a lot to get into. We have great giveaways today, by the way. We've got pairs of tickets for San Diego State, St. Catherine tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. We also have tickets to give away to the Holiday Bowl. Let's start, guys, here, if you wouldn't mind, with the Padres and the latest. We talked, did we talk Friday about the Matt Carpenter deal? We did.
Yeah, it happened during our show.
Okay. So we talked about the Matt Carpenter deal, and the Padres have been active with trades. We've seen Soto, we've seen Carpenter, we've seen Barlow, we've seen moves. But in terms of spending, and they're not the only team, you could actually say the Yankees haven't spent a dime either, but they have acquired Juan Soto. But the Padres continually lower payroll, including this past Friday, in dealing Matt Carpenter to the Atlanta Braves. The question is this, and then Dennis Lynn writes in The Athletic about the payroll not just coming down to $200 million, but potentially lower than $200 million. So this is the question. It's like the $200 million question, guys. And Jim, I'll start with you. We know the Padres are lowering payroll. The question is, what do they plan to do with these reserves? Because they've freed up all types of capital since the end of the year. How do they plan to spend it? Do they even plan to spend it as the calendar is going to flip towards Christmas and 2024 pretty soon?
Yeah, I think they're going to. I mean, they have to spend. They have so many holes in this roster. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to spend some money. But I think the main goal of this offseason, it's make sure they're nowhere near, or at least they're not in a position, if they happen to add the trade deadline next year, where they're going over the luxury tax, because then they'll be repeat offenders, I think, and then there's like a 50% tax on the luxury tax for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think their main goal is to make sure they're not even close to that luxury tax. And as of right now, the luxury tax, they're probably about 30 something million dollars away from that, like spending wise, AAV wise, because the payroll as of right now is around 150 million, but the adjusted payroll with the AAVs is 200 something million. So now you're looking at them this offseason, I would say about 30 million to spend at the top end. And if they do spend it, they're going to run a risk of not much flexibility if they're in contention at the trade deadline to add payroll potentially. I don't know. It seems like everybody's surprised by this offseason, but I don't know about you, Derek. I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised at all that they're, one, lowering payroll to where they are, and two, they have not gone out and spent big time free agent money. It's just, I'm not surprised at all.
No, I'm not surprised that they have dropped money. They have to do that. And you're right. They're about 30, 35 million under the CBT right now. And that's why they want to go in a little bit lower, because I think they are thinking long-term. They're thinking, okay, trade deadline. We still have Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Brooks. We expect to be competitive. We expect to be maybe not doing what the Dodgers are doing, but we expect to be in the playoff hunt. We're going to be adding at the trade deadline. So they want to be able to add potentially big time at the trade deadline. So they're more looking ahead to the entirety of the season, which is why they're not going out and spending the kind of big time dollars that we've been kind of more accustomed the last couple of years to them doing. So it will go back in. It just might not go in until July or August. So they obviously are not immune or hesitant to spend. They will do it. They just have to do it at the right time now. They can't do it all willy-nilly like they have been in the past. Now the question is, where do they spend it? How do you get the players in here to get better while also getting cheaper, which is not easy to do, but also certainly not impossible to do. Look at you mentioned the Scott Barlow deal. You look at his numbers. Aniel De Los Santos is basically the same guy who makes $6 million a year less. You just save $6 million and you're not losing any kind of production. So it's going to be a lot of moves and things like that we're going to be seeing. And you got enough superstar capital with what's already here. You can supplement that with the right glue guys, and they can still be a very good competitive team. A lot still has to happen now. I'm not surprised they haven't been spending on the free agent market. I'm a little surprised with the lack of trades. I would have thought they would try to go out and get some players in here a little bit sooner. But then you think about the trickle down effect when Yamamoto signs, then Snell signs, then Hader signs, and all these different dominoes start to fall. And then teams realize what they have. And then the rest of their roster construction comes more into focus. So once some of these bigger high ticket free agents come off the board, then we'll be able to see some moves start to happen with everybody, even if they're not big game hunting on the free agent market.
Would you agree with this? And we talked a little bit about this last night, Jim, on the wrap-up show. Would you agree with the idea that don't compare yourself with others around you with the way the playoff format works? 6 teams are getting in. That clearly other teams are going to have quote-unquote better off seasons than you. I mean, that's obvious. You know, you can't sign Shohei Ohtani and then have the Padres have a better off season than the Dodgers. But it's one of those things where, like, do you even concern yourselves with what the Giants have done, Lee, what the Dodgers have done, Glass now, Ohtani? It's like, if I want to compare myself, like, I go to the gym, but I don't look like Derek. But I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I can't compare myself. I can't compare myself with Derek. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be Derek in terms of like working out, and I'm not going to be you in terms of, what do you have?
I don't know.
Jackets. You know, I'm not going to wear as many jackets during a show as you. As in, does it even matter what the Dodgers have done, what the Diamondbacks have done, what the Giants have done, if you're AJ Preller, if you're Eric Katsenda, if you're the Padres organization?
I think people are forgetting, like, the last, 3-4 years, maybe 4 years, back to Machado. I don't know whenever that, like 2018, 2019.
What year is it going to be with the Padres for Machado?
This can be 6.
Is that right?
I thought it was his 5th.
Yeah, Hosmer was 17,
yes.
Manny was 18.
Okay. Right. Yeah, 6.
And then Tatis show up at 19.
That's amazing.
So back to 2018, the Padres, every single offseason, have made a pretty substantial type of move, whether it be trading, whether it be signing Tatis to that $340 million contract, whether it be signing Manny Machado. And now it's like, well, they haven't spent any money. What the hell? This team's going to suck.
Right.
Like, did we forget that before that, this team was having a $70 million payroll, right? $60 million payroll. I think we have gotten to a point around here where the expectations, and this is also the Padres thing, is like, they have made these expectations for their fan base that they're going to go out every offseason and make a substantial move in the first year. When they don't do that, to try to get the money under control, because AJ Preller has, I mean, let's be real here, is kind of effed it up, right? Spending money on players you probably shouldn't have spent money on, and now how much dead money are they paying away here? With it's a crazy. Exactly.
Right.
And
Carp. Well, some of Carp, they some
of Carpenter,
$1.5 million.
Some of Carpenter, but like, I think we all should like slow down a little bit, like take a deep breath. Like, this isn't the end of the world. I know people want answers right away, and they want to hear from Eric Katsenda about what's the payroll. Like, first off, no owner is going to openly go out and say, here's our payroll for next season. Like, no opener is ever going to do that. So to think that Eric Katsenda, who's been on the job for a couple of weeks now after the passing of Peter Seidler, who might not even be the main guy in charge in 2 years or a year, right, is going to come out and openly say what the payroll is. Like, everybody calm down. They still have a pretty high payroll. It's just, problems that were made by the team that put themselves in this position. And now they're going to have to go out and try to be creative and be smart about things. But to get upset that they're not spending any money, I mean, did people forget where this team was just 5 years ago?
I think, simply put, not spending big is not the same as not improving.
Yeah.
You just got to do it in the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
And the offseason is not over yet either. Like there's still a good amount of time left. There's a bunch of free agents on the board. There's a bunch of opportunities with trades.
Derek, do you trust him? I mean, you followed his career. You've watched his play out over the last 10 years. He's had good moves. He's had bad moments. He's had good off seasons. He's had not as good off seasons. Do you trust him to get it right this off season?
Do we have a choice?
No, not really. But what do you think? I mean, can he get this team to 86, 87 wins? Considering what he's up against and what's going on in this division. Not that the division's the end all be all. You know, you play these teams 12, 13 times.
Yeah. Can and will are two very different things.
Sure.
I think the talent on the roster right now is enough to win you 84, 85 games.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, absolutely is true. I think we're all putting the cart before the horse here. Can we hire a coaching staff?
True. That's a great point.
Coaching staffs do help bring players in.
Yep.
You know, you want to know who your hitting instructor is. You want confirmation on who your pitching coach is. You know, your free agents are not going to want to go somewhere not knowing who the strength and conditioning coach is. Like, can we put a staff in place and then maybe that'll help maybe lure a few guys here? Like, what is taking so long with that?
They're actually, Derek, trying something new where they're not going to have any coaching staff besides Schilt and Niebla.
They're saving.
They're saving money.
They're going to say that 80K here and that 120 there is going to go right back into Lucas Giolito. That's the big plan.
It is like you said, Derek, like, when are things going to be happening? When are you going to hire a coaching staff? When are you going to make some potential trades to improve this roster? Because right now, you look at the roster and it's way worse off than it was to end the season. You know, I get it. They won 82 games last year, but this roster compared to last year's roster is way inferior. You have holes everywhere. You have loss of players that you can't replace. You're going to need to try to replace, right? You have one outfielder on your roster. Like, I know you have Jose Azocar.
Jose Azocar he counts,
but he's not an everyday outfielder, in my opinion. So you have so many moves here, and I get it. It's December 18th. We're almost at Christmas, and I am on the side of, this offseason so far has sucked. It's been really bad. There's still some time left. I'm not like the happiest in the world, but I'm also not going to like go crazy right this moment. And I know this might sound weird for me to say because I always like overreact to everything, but at this moment in time, let me see what he does the first day of spring training. If it's not as good as or not good, or he hasn't made any moves, that's when I'll blow up.
Let me ask you that. I wanted to ask you this, Derek. Like, if this, let's say they go through 2024 and they have a level of success, but it's comparable to 2023. Maybe they're on the outside. They win 83, 84 games. They have a winning record, something they're not doing every year in San Diego historically, but they're on the outside looking in. There's a level of progress. There's good, there's bad. I don't know. Maybe they don't bury themselves like they did this September and then dig their way out late, but all year they're a 500 team and they just can't get over the hump. What happens then? Do you follow the course with the same general manager with this still high payroll, high-priced players?
Well, does that 84 games get you where the Diamondbacks 84 games got them this year?
That's a good point. I mean,
because if that happens, yes, I will take that. I will sign up for that.
What if they get in and lose? What if they win 84, 85, 86 games or the 6th seed and they lose in the first round? I mean, does that keep your GM around because you made the postseason?
If you made the postseason, then you're dealing with, okay, what happened during the year? Did Manny miss the entire season and they overcame it? Like, there's a lot of context and factors have to go into something like that. And remember, Jim, to your point, remember, if this was 3 years ago, we'd still be 12 days away from the Yu Darvish, 13 days away from Blake Snell, 15 days away from Joe Musgrove trades. So a lot can still happen as we move into the new year.
Yeah. And I mean, just read the quotes, guys. It's not like trying to read between the lines here about like what the plan is, you know, like, cause I think people are like, what's the plan? What's the plan? The plan is simple: lower payroll, flexibility. And then once that happens, that's when they strike. Like, it's pretty simple to me as to what they're doing here. It's not something where I'm sitting here wondering what the hell's the direction. And then once they get to a number where they feel comfortable with, they're going to go out and not dumpster dive per se, but like look at the market and the climate whenever the end of the offseason or whenever the offseason is. And that's when they're going to strike. And that's when they're going to make their moves. But they can't make those moves until they get it to a point where they have said they're comfortable with flexibility. Do I like the Juan Soto trade? Absolutely not. I hate it that they have to trade Juan Soto. I just look at the team right now. I would have liked them to do something. but I get it, and they're telling you exactly what they're doing.
Well, here's a quote from Preller to Jeff Sanders of UT, who we read on Friday, I think. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks, whether it's trade or free agent, when the market kind of stabilizes, guys get to January and they're looking for places to play, there might be some good buys out there. So you don't traditionally maybe hear that from AJ Preller, but that's where they are. To your point, Derek, and to Jim's point, it's not the end of the world. They have a core laden roster. Machado's, Tatis, Bogarts, Musgroves, Darvishes, even out of Suarez or Carnival. We'll see. And we'll see. But I mean, they have put it out there in plain sight. I think I was expecting Cody Bellinger. By the way, does it even make sense? I was expecting your guys out of roster.
35
So, yeah, it sounds like they're kind of in plain sight. Tell us.
Remember last year, Michael Walker signed after spring training.
Yeah, it was February, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They'd already gotten in. I was actually over there in spring training when he arrived.
Right.
So they did that deal, and then he showed up after that. Seth Lugo signed a little bit later on, a little closer to spring training. Those are the kinds of buys you're talking about. And this is what AJ is doing right now. Is he's going through all these medical reports, all these guys looking for who wants that same kind of a deal. Is it James Paxton? He wants to show that he can stay. He can throw 150 innings in the major leagues again, and he's going to take $6 million for 1 year, and then a bunch of incentives and get another $1 million for 100 innings pitch, whatever it is. He's looking for Hyun Jin Ryu, who's coming off a Tommy John surgery. Maybe he takes a prove-it deal. He's kicking the tires on those types of guys right now, and those types of guys still don't know what they're going to be worth in the market because the market hasn't, as he said, established itself. Once Yamamoto's off and Snell is off, and those types of just ridiculous, off-the-charts types of contracts are now no longer being considered. Well, now the teams, if Toronto misses out on Yamamoto, they still have these $500 million they're trying to throw around. They're going to go out and start overpaying for other people. So then the agents of those guys are going, well, hold off because all that money is going to be available. We'll then go and push to get you some of that money. A lot has to happen yet until AJ can see what's left, who's been overlooked, who is the commodity that's on the market that maybe I can take advantage of, and then bring them in and still have something in the tank.
Right. And like all of these moves, have to happen first before they pretty much do anything of consequence here.
Unless it's like trading for Shea Bieber or something like that, or
Right.
Framber Valdez actually is made available by Houston. Something like that happens, you strike now before anybody else can come and figure out that they missed on everybody else, so they have to overpay to go and get themselves another one.
It's just, and I get it. We're at December 18th. They've signed nobody. This is not like in the last 5 years something that fans are used to, right? Last year, Xander Bogaerts was signed at this time. The year before that, they made all those trades in 2021 after this time, like you said, Derek. But like those all moves happened, and then you had the Manny signing, the Tatis signing, and then you had last offseason, Darvish signs, right? You're kind of waiting for that big move. I'm just telling you, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time if you expect another big move here.
I agree on big move. I will say they've probably added 4 players to the big league roster in the Soto trade. Like King, big league roster, backup catcher, big league roster, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, arguably for the bullpen, maybe even come back as the rotation. So, yeah, it's not sexy, but then again, they've quote unquote won offseason, and they've won trade deadlines. If they haven't won, they've had a level of success in 2022. In terms of winning big, they've tried other routes that haven't necessarily paid off. Who knows if this pays off or not? Derek, always appreciate the time. For our listeners, where can they catch today's episode of Sports Wrap?
Hey, tonight at 9 o'clock on the San Diego Roku channel. Check out all of your streaming smart TV stuff because that's where everybody's going to watch stuff nowadays.
Awesome.
All right, good stuff. We've got a great show lined up here today. Again, Bill O'Boyle, he is San Diego State's new offensive line coach. We're getting very close to signing day. We're just 2 days out. Bill O'Boyle, now working for Sean Lewis here in San Diego, will join us at 4 p.m. J.R. Tolver, Aztec Link, Aztec for Life. He will join us coming up at 5 p.m. On the other side, more on this. The Padres have lowered payroll. Now what? Plus great giveaways today. San Diego State, St. Catherine basketball tomorrow night. Holiday Bowl tickets at Petco Park. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer. Holidays are coming up. You can do all of your shopping right here in the college area with our friends over at Windmill Farms, the college area's natural grocer, serving San Diegans and our community for over 20 years. Trevor and his family, they've been in that grocery business for over 2 decades now, supporting local businesses and our community, whether it's Harris Ranch, Mr. G Salsa, so many products in there are locally based. I've told you about their sandwich card. If you're looking for an affordable lunch during your work week, you got to swing by Windmill Farms. They have an amazing deli with an incredible selection, everything you could possibly imagine. Pick up a sandwich card because your eighth sandwich is free with the sandwich card. They use really fresh, high quality ingredients, and they really pride themselves on keeping their prices incredibly low. And then as you get ready for your weekends and as you get ready for the holidays, swing by Windmill Farms because they've got organic farm fresh produce and meats. They've got amazing beer, whether it's craft beer, kombucha, much more. The deli I've told you about, they're centrally located. They're right across the freeway from Montezuma Mesa. And again, they're family owned. And here's the thing, even if you don't live or work near Del Cerro, it's not a problem. You can find Windmill Farms on Instacart, have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. Visit windmillfarmsmarket.com. You'll see their weekly specials. Again, windmillfarmsmarket.com. And again, shop local, shop at Windmill Farms. Steve, thank you. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If there's there's audio issues apparently.
It's not our fault.
It's Jim's fault.
I don't know what to do.
Jim put in an audio error. Yeah, we don't really know. Hopefully, he normally gets cleaned up. So hopefully, they'll improve here coming up on the other side. We're gonna plug in some like hardwired Ethernet. But Steve wants to know. Thank you for the super chat. We get to all super chats during the breaks, and please subscribe if you're here. He says, "Why won't Eric Katsenda talk to the media about his plans?"
Because guys, nice.
Don't get Jim started here.
Look, they are still dealing with transition.
Yep.
All right. This is not something where, like, I just don't see Eric the point. I really don't. What is he gonna say? There's nothing. He's pretty much right now, I believe, a placeholder for the future. And if he becomes the actual chairman for the next 10 years in the point man, then yes, we're going to hear from him. And yes, it's going to matter what he has to say. But at this moment in time, I don't think it matters what he says. I really don't.
What about not a press conference, but even speaking with like Dennis Lin or Jeff Sanders or
He did do that.
did he?
Yeah.
When? Eric Katsenda?
Yeah,
That recent that 200 million payroll article?
Yeah.
That a quote from Katsenda?
It did. And he said at this moment
It
in time,
did?
yeah, he's like, at this moment in
Okay.
time, we're not going to discuss our payroll, which
Okay.
what I said is like, what owner of a team is going to openly go to somebody from the Athletic who covered the team and say, by the way, Dennis, yeah, our payroll is going to be $208 million next year. Like, no one's going to do that.
I didn't realize it had Katsenda quotes.
Yeah, you talked there.
Oh, I'm looking at reach salary, interim control. Oh, okay, good point. We're not commenting on payroll plans or projections.
I really do think that Padres fans have gotten to the point where it's like, we can sign Bellinger, we can sign Yamamoto and Jung Hoo Lee. Can't do that every year.
Right.
And they effed it up. Like, that's their fault. They effed it up from 2023. If 2023 worked and they won in a big way, then things are probably different. But
I agree.
didn't. They screwed it up. They effed it up. And I have to fix their own mistakes, which is crazy to me that we're going to be potentially praising AJ Preller for fixing his own mistakes. Like, bro, you got yourself in this mess. And now we're expecting for you to get out of it. Good luck.
Dom, to answer your question, Steve, thanks for the super. Parksandnormal.com, big supporters of Jon and Jim. Great hats with all the incredible. Parksandnormal.com, you can see Parks and Normal hat or tag. Parksandnormal.com, support them, San Diegans. All right, we'll be back in a moment, guys. Thank you, Steve.
All right, this update is brought to you by Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Aztecs basketball returns tomorrow night at Viejas Arena versus St. Catherine. Good news on Jaden Ledee. He's expected to return from a shoulder injury. Pregame at 6:30, right, John? 6:30 or 6?
6.
It changes all the time.
Well, you could just ask. Not on air.
I did just
but
ask.
You're on air. Preparation is called doing something before.
Way to listen to my first update, too. 7 p.m. is the tip-off time right here on San Diego Sports 760. Monday Night Football tonight, Eagles versus the Seahawks. Jalen Hurts is expected to play tonight. He was dealing with a sickness, and Steelers safety, also former Aztec, DeMonte Casey, has been suspended for the rest of the season by the NFL for his hit on Michael Pittman Jr. over the weekend. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, great giveaways today on Jon and Jim. We've got tickets for tomorrow, Viejas Arena, San Diego State, St. Catherine, pregame coverage at 6 p.m. We have 2 pairs of tickets. Is that right? We do, Brent. All right. We also have tickets to give away to the Holiday Bowl. So be listening for your chance to win those tickets. Bill O'Boyle, San Diego State's new O-line coach. He'll join us at 4. J.R. Tolver at 5. Before we get back to the Padres, Jim thinks he has deciphered new Aztec head coach Sean Lewis's tweets.
Yes.
So what's your theory here?
Well, so a lot of social media interaction and a lot of social media posts about commitments to San Diego State, coaches tweeting out. I love it. I think to give a little insight to the fans on what's happening with the Aztecs football program for recruiting goes, I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
I'm with you.
Fans want to be in the loop, and you don't have to give them everything, but if you give them tastes, they love it. Like the other night, Demetrius Sumlin posted
Sumler,
sorry, posted a eyes emoji.
Yeah. Oh, did they just land a verbal commit?
And you're like, okay, I like this.
Right.
It gets the fan base excited. So I'm looking at Sean Lewis's Twitter account. All right. Today at, when is this? 9:29 a.m. He tweeted out a bunch of emojis of palm trees. But he also said, today is a good day. And then an emoji of, emoji wearing sunglasses, smiling emoji sunglasses.
So typically when he says today is a good day, they've landed a commit.
Typically.
Right.
But,
I think that's the case.
But here's the decipher part.
Right.
He tweeted out one emoji, a sunglass emoji, smiling face, sunglass emoji. That means one commit is committed, or one person is committed, because the very next tweet was a tweet of Merlin Lewis, who committed to San Diego State. Then he tweeted out a couple hours later, the day is getting better, with 2 sunglass emojis.
As if to say, now we're up to 2 commits today.
Because then he tweeted out or retweeted Michael Harrison, who is the tight end at Colorado last year, transferred to San Diego State today, officially announcing he's committed to San Diego State, followed by Gabe Garrettson, who also has committed to San Diego State. So that's 3.
I think there have been 4 today, though, via the portal and via high school route.
But then he tweeted out 22 minutes ago, just straight up 4 emojis, 4 sunglass smiling emojis.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track. I mean, they've been so active, but that makes sense. I think you're right. I think the sunglass emoji, smiling sun emoji, or whatever it is, smiling sunglass emoji equals a verbal commit to San Diego State. I think you're right. I think he's got 4 today.
Yeah, every single day that he's tweeted out like a smiling sunglass face emoji,
they've landed a player.
You see, they landed a player. So
I like it.
There we go.
Well, by the way, signing day is Wednesday. I want to say that Sean Lewis is joining Darren Smith on Wednesday. JD Wicker will join us on Thursday, by the way, before San Diego State and Stanford. So if you're an Aztec fan, if you've been following along like we have, if you're anticipating, signing day, there's gonna be a lot of change in 2024 with this roster, as evidenced by the commits that have been rolling in over the last couple of days. I'm excited for signing day to get here on Wednesday. Sean Lewis, I think, is going to join Darren on Wednesday. JD Wicker will join us on Thursday.
Did you see Danny O'Neill tweeted out this morning? He is signing at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning in the WAC.
Are we carrying that live?
Where's the WAC?
Probably his high school high school?
Maybe. So
I would think so.
He goes, all are welcome at Aztecs football with a spear and then your favorite, a red dot and a black dot.
Yes, red circle, black circle.
Whatever.
Okay, so this was interesting. I didn't realize this, and maybe you said it in that first segment, but I didn't realize it. I know you said what would Eric Katsenda, the acting chairman of the Padres, say related to payroll, but I didn't realize he was actually quoted on the record. In Dennis Lynn's article this weekend in The Athletic about the Padres payroll coming down, the question is how far, and could it dip well below $200 million? He reached out to Eric Katsenda, who would not confirm payroll commitments or projections for 2024, because we had a question on our YouTube chat. Why won't Eric Katsenda talk to the media about his plans? Well, he wasn't quoted, though, in the article. Other than Dennis or The Athletic reached out, what's the payroll projection? He said, we're not going to comment on the payroll projection,
Well,
right?
That's a quote.
No, not really. That's not a quote.
That's him speaking
well,
to Dennis
that's
Lynn.
like, no, that's like, okay, hey, Jim, what'd you have for breakfast? I'm not going to comment. I mean, that's not really a quote.
Yeah, that's like pleading the fifth and
Yeah.
saying that you gave testimony.
He may have texted back, say, hey, what's your payroll? Can't comment.
Well, at least we know he's like a real person.
Yeah, well, ChatGPT will do the same thing. When I ask it a question, it'll write back. So, I mean, I kind of agree. I agree with you. Of course, they're not going to say we're getting a 198.5 and here's how. But I would like to hear from Eric Katsenda before the start of spring training. I feel like Peter Seidler picked his spots, but he was somewhat visible. Press conferences occasionally, spring training, absolutely. And Eric Katsenda, there's one headshot of the guy on the internet. His only quote since taking over as the chairperson of the Padres is a statement, a one-paragraph statement that the Padres sent out a couple of weeks ago, and now this no comment to Dennis Lynn.
I saw somebody like when that quote came out from Eric Katsenda, someone retweeted me today, and basically I don't have it in front of me, but it was basically like, well, you lied to us or something along those lines. Like, well, guess you didn't really like live up to your word of like taking Peter Seidler's legacy.
Vision or whatever.
Vision. Guys, it's been 3-4 weeks since that statement came out, maybe less. I don't know. I just, like I said, I think everybody wants the big splash all the time because that's what the Padres have done recently since Manny Machado. Every single year they've made a big splash. Every offseason. They've made some type of big splash, maybe excluding after the lockout because it was such a short time. But then that season they traded for Juan Soto in season. So every year since they signed Eric Hosmer, they have made splash after splash after splash. And it's not really something I think Padres fans were used to from the start. But as time went on, all fans were expecting these are the types of moves that this organization is going to be making in the offseason. And when all of those moves they've made, not all of them, but when it came to a head last year with completely nosediving and them tripping over their feet in the worst way possible, and now they have to fix all of their mistakes that they made leading up to last year of a $250-something million payroll, now having to fix all that, it's like the sky's falling. Like, oh my God, they're not making a huge splash. What's happening here? This team is crumbling. It's a rebuild. They're not going to have any payroll next year. They're not spending any money. Their payroll is still probably around top 10 in baseball.
Well, maybe, but I think your point's valid. But I think it's you fear the worst when there is an unknown. We haven't heard. AJ Preller has said we're going to be competitive with our payroll. We think we're going to have a good payroll for the next 4 or 5 years that'll give us a chance to be competitive. But AJ Preller doesn't write his name on the checks. It's not AJ Preller's budget to determine. It's AJ Preller's job to take the budget and make the most of it. So I understand the fear of the unknown. It's like, you see what the Dodgers are doing. This is human nature.
But
you see the guy at the gym lifting 225 and you're lifting 135, Jim?
You know what the Dodgers did last year, though?
What?
The exact same thing the Padres are doing this offseason.
Well, no, the difference being they were fourth in baseball in payroll, and the Padres are not going to be fourth in baseball in payroll in 2023. And they're coming off a 100-win season, and the Padres are coming off 80 wins.
I'm just talking about spending money, making big-time trades.
They won 100 games, you won 80. Their payroll was higher, yours lower.
I get it.
You got an ownership change, they don't.
I'm just saying the moves, if I'm correlating the two, all right, last offseason, essentially what the Dodgers did was not sign anybody and say we're going the young route. We're going like internally for positions that we need filled. What's the difference between the Padres offseason right now and the Dodgers offseason last year? At this moment in time, it could change, but at this moment in time, the Padres are, I mean, I guess the difference is they're actually shedding payroll and the Dodgers, just didn't resign anybody. But the Padres aren't spending any money. And the thought process is that you're going to see a lot of youngsters on this team next year internally.
Yeah, that wasn't really the Dodgers in 2023, was it? They had a young center fielder and then MVP caliber players around him.
They let Justin Turner go. They had no center fielder. They had Outman, who actually had a really good season. They didn't sign any pitchers.
Yeah, but they also had, okay, maybe it's semantics. Their payroll was $242 million.
But how much money did they spend last offseason is my point.
Yeah, probably not a ton, but more than what the Padres.
Because we knew that they were loading up and getting ready for Ohtani.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't like. I see the comp. It's just what were they coming off? How many games did they win in 2022?
A lot.
So I just think I see that a little differently. We'll get to calls on the other side. 844-570-1360. Is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. On the other side, Bill O'Boyle, San Diego State's new offensive line coach, working with Sean Lewis again. He'll join us at 4 p.m. J.R. Tolver, the Aztec Life, will join us. Aztec for Life will join us at 5. We've got great giveaways today. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. Plus, Bill O'Boyle, San Diego State's new offensive line coach and run game coordinator at 4 p.m. Stay with us. All right, we're going to get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend in a moment. Bill O'Boyle, San Diego State's new O-line coach, will join us in about 14 minutes. Right now, though, let's get to Dave, who's been very patient on line 4. And Dave, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, back to our good friends, the Padres. First of all, remember last year at the Dodgers, they had a complete pitching staff prior to the season that got injured all the way through the season. So they never had to project into the offseason what was going to happen to them. They didn't know these guys are all going to get injured.
Right. They didn't have as many needs as the Padres do this year. I agree.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like an apples to oranges comparison, Jim, but let's put that aside for a second. Jon, you're absolutely right. This ownership, given the unique situation that it finds itself in whatever ownership is out there, because they're not telling us, they owe an explanation to the fan base because of what has happened. And I can understand the first month or so, they've got to get their feet back under them. I get it. But at some point, sooner than later, and I'm talking about after the holidays, they need to come out from hiding and they need to put their cookies on the table, because they owe that to this fan base that has supported them generously and is going to probably support them generously again next year. So I'm with you, Jon, 100%. And given where we're at financially, I think it's a lot worse than what they're letting on from a lot of the research that I've done. There's bigger problems here that they've not even begun to discuss. They never do, actually. But it has to do with a lot of the overhead costs that, are never published. Baseball is a very expensive operation to run. Think about it year round with all of the overhead travel, all of the things minor league costs. There's just a boatload of things. The telling point, and I'll leave you with this, last year, which everybody should pay attention to, they requested a $100 million loan to bridge the gap. Baseball caps it at 50. If they're asking for 100, that tells me that there are things a whole lot worse that were happening than what they're letting on to.
Dave, appreciate it. I would just say this on the consent thing. I don't need him to talk in front of like me and Jim and Kevin. What about like go on YouTube with Don Orsillo? Yeah, I mean, show your face. Like nobody, Jim, I'm not kidding. Nobody knows who this individual
one
is.
picture of him out there.
You
One.
go on Padres.com and talk to Jesse Agler. I mean, this is not hard to do. This is PR 101.
I would say this: if at this time next year we're still asking the same
Can you
questions,
imagine? No, we can't.
then I understand, dude.
Yeah.
It's been when
He
was
was
that?
named chairperson over a month ago. It was like 32, 33 days ago.
Yeah,
I know. It's not a
I am
ton of time.
not in the camp of I demand answers now. I'm
But
just
not
not.
even answers. I'm just asking now for visibility.
Well, even that, we don't even know if Eric Casenda is going to be the guy. He's been named the guy for now.
You say maybe it's interim?
But the Seidler name was always something that Peter wanted to be attached to
Mhm.
chairman, owner of the team. Is Eric Casenda's last name Seidler? No, it's not. So
Jim fact.
going forward, who even knows if Eric Casenda is going to remain the chairman
Well, that's a
of the
good
team?
theory. Listen, if that's the reason, I'm all for it. If it's a 90-day bridge the
I
gap,
think it's longer than that.
would you think it's longer than a year?
I think
Well, if so, I'm saying he's going to have to speak.
I think that we will know more about the direction next 5-10 years of this team at this time next year. If Eric Casenda is still in charge and he's speaking and then I think you can see the path of baseball going down, which is naming and making Eric Casenda the guy going forward into the future.
Could I ask this question as well? And this is why I want to hear from him. Like, is he a baseball guy?
Do you like baseball?
I mean, like, is this what he envisioned doing, or has he been kind of forced into the role because of his financial relationship?
Well,
with
also
Peter?
His friendship with Peter,
But also right. It's I'm
He's
sure
a
they
part
had a
of the
friendship,
group.
right?
He's
like,
a part of the
but
ownership
being
group.
a partner of an equity firm isn't about being, they work together.
I think there are answers that people want right now that just they're not there yet. Like they're not. I'm surprised I'm even being this calm today. Like there are not answers that I think can be given at this moment in time.
What's that
when
to
people
do
want,
with you? You're saying normally you'd be more angry at not getting the answers.
right?
Yeah, no, I'm
I'm
not angry
calm
about
down.
it.
I'm like, calm down. It's okay.
But guys, if Google names a new CEO, he speaks. And that's just how it works. I mean, this is a huge, massive corporation in San Diego. You had 3.2 million fans last year. You don't owe anything to them, show them anything about what your future direction is. I get it. Peter passed away. It's been over a month, though. You're doing business. You just had the winter meetings. Hear from him in some capacity. Let's go back to the phones. 844-570-1360. Matt, you're on with Jon and Jim.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, man?
What's up?
So, I mean, the Padres took their shot the last 2 years. They spent more than they've ever spent. They went into the luxury tax. We know that this franchise does not have the proverbial, endless bank account that some of the other teams do that can be into the luxury tax. So we had our 2-year window, and unfortunately now, through some of the other things that were unforeseen, they were never going to stay into the luxury tax multiple years. I mean, that $30 million bill that they're going to have to pay in that tax already, they weren't going into the next year and paying even more of that. We knew that they were going to have to, get back under that tax threshold for a year or two before they take another shot. And even Padres said they were going to go after it for a year or two, and then there was probably going to be another window 4 or 5 years down the road. So, if people are thinking that they're going to spend, it's not going to happen. They're going to have to build through the farm. They're going to have to, bring up some pieces because they've already got, they're superstars. They've already spent the money. There's no more just buying mercenaries back and forth. They're going to have to wait for some of these other guys in 2025 and 2026 to start really coming up to replenish the ranks around the cornerstones that they've paid. Did they make mistakes paying Bogarts? Did they make mistakes paying Cronenworth? Yeah, but the cookie jar, just reaching in and grabbing more money, that money's not there anymore. And you can see that. This team is going to be, I think, under 100.
Matt, we're losing you. We appreciate the call. He's right. I mean, the payroll's different. The way they do business is going to be different. All right, Bill O'Boyle, new San Diego State offensive line coach. He will join us on the other side. In the 4 o'clock hour, you have a chance to win both tickets to San Diego State St. Catherine tomorrow night at Viejas and tickets to the 44th annual DirecTV Holiday Bowl. It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. We'll start with the Aztecs basketball team. They return to action tomorrow night at Viejas Arena versus St. Catherine. 6 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. 7 p.m. tip-off right here on San Diego Sports 760. Good news, Jaden Ledee is expected to return from his shoulder injury. Monday Night Football tonight, about an hour away from now. Eagles take on the Seahawks. Jalen Hurts is expected to play tonight. He was dealing with a sickness. And Lakers take on the Knicks tonight, 7:15 tip-off. It's also when our coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples holiday deals mean amazing savings for the holiday season this week. Save $50 on the Xbox Series S with 3-month Game Pass Unlimited Bundle, now just $249.99. Ends 12/23, available online and in select stores only while supplies last. Limited to one. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim on the home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. It's great right now to connect with San Diego State's new O-line coach and run game coordinator, Bill O'Boyle, who's been with Sean Lewis for the better part of the last handful of years, whether it's been at Kent State or Colorado or now at San Diego State. No, by the way, we're not yet in football season, but if you want basketball tickets for tomorrow night, be listing. We're going to give away Aztec basketball tickets coming up in about 15 minutes. But Coach O'Boyle, Bill, we appreciate you hopping on. What's this been like for you? You're a longtime head coach of the Division II ranks, from Kent State to Colorado, now to San Diego State. Welcome to the Mesa. And what have the last few weeks been like for you?
You've been extremely busy, fellas. I really appreciate you guys having me on. We kind of hit the ground running, obviously. Been here, it'll be 2 weeks on Sunday. And all we've done is recruit and recruit and recruit. That's about basically what we've been doing.
Yeah, I know. We see it a lot on social media, which I think fans are appreciating now. And coming here with Coach Lewis, what made the fit right for you to come here to be on the coaching staff with Coach Sean Lewis?
Well, the biggest thing is just being with Coach Lewis. You know, I ended up going out with him when we took the job at Kent State, and just being with him through the Kent State years, 5 years there. And of course, a year at Colorado, and then just being able to come with him here. And it's just a special deal being able to get back with some of the coaches from Kent State. When we left Kent to go to Colorado, I know that group kind of broke up, but we were able to bring, I think there's 4 of us now that were together there at Kent State and did things right. So that's special to be with those guys.
Bill O'Boyle with us right now, San Diego State's new offensive line coach and run game coordinator, right here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. I mentioned, Coach, that you had a nearly 2-decade run as a head coach before getting back into the FBS ranks. How did your time as a head coach at Division II make you a better position coach?
You know, that was a special time, man. I look back and everybody asking, you know, what were your best years and where'd you like it best and things like that. But you know, those D2 years they were special. We had great kids. We had great staffs. You know, we all got along. And, you know, the biggest difference is you do everything at D2. You know, we painted the fields, we mowed, we did laundry, we did, you know, you don't have people to do that. You don't have the money for staff. So just the appreciation of the whole thing, the whole program. And you know, I still, I don't miss a lot of that work, but, you know, I think it gives you a deep appreciation for being able to create a program, work a program, and win, you know, and then those are all special things to me.
What's your impression been of San Diego so far in Snapdragon Stadium and just the football program as a whole going forward?
Yeah, I think it's a diamond in the rough, you know, for us coming here and where we've been and the areas we've been. You're not going to find a better city, a better environment, weather, I was blown away, when we came in here. We were about, it was probably a week before we even got over to Snapdragon to see the place, and we've been at some pretty good venues, especially when we were at Kent, with some of the schools we played, but that stadium is unbelievable. It's amazing what you have here, the resources, and like I said, just even the recruiting in the area. We went out for about 3 or 4 days in just the area, and the amount of kids that want to come to San Diego State and play. And what we're finding out now is the kids that have gone away, which we're not going to let happen anymore, but the kids that have gone away, all the guys want to come back, so this is a special place.
Bill O'Boyle with us right now, San Diego State's new offensive line coach and run game coordinator. What are you looking for in linemen? I mean, you've been coaching this position. You've had a ton of success in doing it. What are the key traits you're looking for to develop at San Diego State on the O-line?
When I went with Coach Lewis out at Kent State, and I really didn't know him that well. I didn't know him at all, hardly. Just met him a few times, but just being with him about the first 2 weeks and being able to learn the offensive system that we run here and what we do. When you look for an offensive lineman, it's not your typical, and everybody's going to say this, but as an offensive lineman, it's the funnest offense you could run. We're constantly pulling. We're out in space. We run about 5 or 6 different types of screens where we're downfield. Yeah, we're constantly moving, and especially with our tempo when you're snapping the ball every 12 to 15 seconds. So, we're moving all the time. So it's a very exciting offense, and most of the guys are going to go, how can anything be exciting as an offensive lineman? But, with us and what we ask of those guys, we're not just waddling 5 yards and stopping. We're pulling all the time. Like I said, we're moving. Our passing games. It's extremely.
Previously here that the recruiting in this area, you want to keep the kids home in San Diego. Just how important is it going forward that you guys make sure that what you say there becomes reality, and that you do, I think Sean Lewis used this term, build a fence around this area to make sure you don't let these recruits and these high school kids get out?
Well, you have to. I mean, it's a slap in the face when you turn around and see a kid that's within a half hour or 45 minutes or even an hour leave this area and go to, another school, especially at your level, whether it be group of 5 or power 5. So we definitely have to keep those guys here and keep people happy. It brings in families, it brings in other friends, just the area itself. I mean, the linemen I've seen in the last 2 weeks and just being on the road, it's amazing. Some of the kids that are out there, especially the young kids. And I know we're getting in a little bit late on this 24 class, and we have to make some adjustments because of the portal and what happened here. But just the young guys that are coming up, the 25s, the 26s, there's some great kids out there that we have to keep here. They're athletic, they can run, they can do great things for us.
I'm glad you mentioned kind of the state of your offensive line, because I'm curious just to get your impressions. I'm sure you have some of your younger linemen back, but we see on social media that former San Diego State starting offensive linemen have entered the transfer portal. A number of them have accepted other offers around the country already. So what does that mean for you? How do you attack what you need to prioritize for your offensive line in 2024?
Well, the biggest thing is replacing the 4 starters that left. And I know we have some good freshmen here. And it's hard for me to really be honest, to really even tell you, because when I got in, the kids are in a finals week, they're all moving in. So it was so hard to be able to get with those guys before they left, so when they come back on the 16th, I believe it's our first team meeting, January 16th, then I'll be able to assess a little bit more, be able to sit down with those guys and kind of see what we have. But we do have some huge holes, but the best thing about it is the transfer guys we're getting. We've already had 3 offensive linemen commit, and that's just a matter of being able to start when those guys get here and get them into the system. But we're replacing some kids, our high school kids that we're on right now. That's going well, so we're going to be able to bring in the right guys. We still need about 3 or 4 more that we're looking at. So that's what we've been doing the last few days since we hit a dead period today. And, we got to get the right guys. And I want good character guys and guys that'll work extremely hard. And like I mentioned before, to play in this offense, you have to be athletic. And that's a big deal to us.
Whose idea was the cars, the Ferraris, the Range Rovers, the old school cars? Whose idea was that? And where did you guys get these cars to put on the field? I mean, this is something new here at San Diego State that I don't think fans have seen.
Ruben, our DFO, he lined it. They lined most of that up. But I'm telling you, that last official visit we had when they brought in those Impalas and that the old school ones, that anything I've ever been as far as a photo shoot goes, and I'm not a big photo shoot guy, but I mean, those blew me away. I mean, those were absolutely beautiful. The people that brought them in, and I wish I could be able to tell you, what group, but man, those were by far. You can put up any Ferrari, you can put up any whatever, but and those were nice too. But I'm an old school guy, man. That was special.
It's awesome.
Bill O'Boyle, we're excited to have you here on the Mesa. We're excited for early signing day to begin on Wednesday and for a new era of Aztec football here beginning in 2024. Welcome to San Diego. We're excited to have you, and thanks for doing it today.
All right. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. Bill O'Boyle, San Diego State's new offensive line coach, run game coordinator, he addressed the fact that they've got 4 starters that departed via the portal. You're talking about some huge programs. Brendan Crenshaw, Dixon, Florida.
Yep.
There was just Drew Azzopardi, University of Washington in the playoff today. There's others. Maybe ASU is one of them. So, you have some huge holes, like he just said, but they've already added a couple of offensive linemen, and now they need to continue to do that. He said he needs to add another 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen for 2024.
Look, who needs offensive linemen?
That's a great point, Jim.
Honestly,
that's such a good
just
point.
get as many skill guys as you possibly can get, and you're totally fine.
Are you allowed to run a 9 receiver, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback set? No,
you're not.
But I like the idea of it.
No, yeah, it's the type of offense that I'm sure dictated the starters here transferring. Right? It's very fast. You have to be very athletic. Not saying that these guys that transferred out weren't athletic, but it's a type, like we talked before the show. There's probably not going to be many like bunch formations with this team. There's not going to be many like 19 powers to the left, right? Like they are a very up-tempo, RPOs, screens, quick slants, quick throws, potentially having schemed up to where you can throw it deep down the field type of offense. It's not going to be like under center with a fullback and a running back majority of the time. You might see that with this team at some points, right? But a majority of the time, if the offense is anything like it was at Kent State, and maybe you could talk about last year with Colorado too, very fast, because he uses the hashtag all the time, Aztec Fast, on Twitter. Like the skill guys that they've already brought in here, you would think they are going to be a very up tempo. As Coach O'Boyle said, they're going to be fast and they're going to have to be athletic because that's the type of offense that he runs.
I would say this. I think the quarterback run game, because you mentioned RPO, is going to be important. This was a team, though, in 2021 at Kent State with O'Boyle, with Lewis, that averaged 249 rush yards per game and 246 pass yards per game. They averaged 249 rush yards per game 2 years ago.
Yeah,
at Kent State.
Like I would link it to, if you watch, some of the more so the Miami Dolphins offense. Maybe not to that extent because they don't have Tyreek Hill or Raheem Mostert.
No, I like that. Tua, but Tyreek.
You don't see Tua under center a lot. It's a lot of, in the shotgun, RPO, Raheem Mostert, pulling the guard, a lot of athletic.
Right. And he mentioned pulling guards. Yeah.
Pulling guards. Yep. Like that's the type of running game that you're probably going to see majority of the time here. And that's, if you run it right and you have the right players, it can produce big chunk yards on the ground. So I'm not surprised seeing those numbers with this type of offense and how they're going to run it.
All right, coming up in the next 10 minutes, we're giving away San Diego State St. Catherine tickets for tomorrow night. Be listening for your chance to win those tickets. We have Holiday Bowl tickets to give away this hour. We have more St. Catherine San Diego State tickets to give away in the 5 o'clock hour. We have the wrap still ahead. But right now, let's get to this.
The Dallas Cowboys had a big opportunity yesterday to really stamp their claim as potentially being one of the best teams in the NFL and a Super Bowl, legit Super Bowl contender. Not saying that they're still not, but when you go on the road to Buffalo and you get blown out like you did, and Dak Prescott, who is an MVP candidate, see how I said was an MVP candidate?
Right, because it's all Brock Purdy now, right?
Goes out there and does what he did. Is that good?
No, it's not good.
Here's the concern. They're 7-0 at home, but they're gonna have to go on the road now, right? Like they got to win their division to stay home initially, but to be a 1 now, it's still possible. Niners still have to go to Baltimore. It's still possible. I'm just saying they don't control their destiny to stay at home where they're 7-0 this year, and they're 3-4 on the road.
I don't know the tiebreakers, but if say at the end of the year, Philly and the Cowboys have the same record.
Yeah, they're 1-1 against each other.
Yeah,
it's then divisional record, right?
Okay, so if it's divisional record tonight for the Eagles means a lot.
Well, that's conference. Or is it conference then division, or is it division then conference?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know the tiebreaker there either. But my question is, what happens if the Niners, Eagles, Cowboys have the same number of losses?
Then it's the Niners.
Okay, if they all have the same number of losses,
Niners own every tiebreaker.
Okay,
because they have a better conference record right now. They have a 9-1 conference record. I don't think they would need to lose their. No, they already did it because they only have one game remaining versus an NFC opponent, which is the last game of the year versus the Rams. So
okay, so if they finish with 4 losses and everyone else has 4 losses, they're the 1 seed.
Yeah, they own and they beat the Cowboys and the Eagles, so they're right there.
All right, here's tiebreakers. Head-to-head, after that, best win-loss percentage played within the division.
Okay.
Then after that, it's best win-loss tied percentage in common games.
Common games.
Then 4th, then it's win-loss in games played within the conference.
Okay.
Then 5, it's strength of victory in all games. Then strength of schedule. There's like 12 scenarios.
Okay. So basically, the question is who's got the tiebreaker in an Eagles-Cowboys hypothetical where they split a series against each other?
The 12th tiebreaker? Coin toss.
Coin toss.
I want to get to a coin toss.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to get anywhere near a coin toss. No. All right. Is that good? The Padres so far this winter, since their season ended, I think the 1st of October. So you're about 90 days in to the Padres offseason. They have spent a grand total of $0, which is less than I've spent on kombucha today. Is that good?
It is good. Are you kidding me?
It's both because they need the money to then spend the money.
Yeah.
If we're
I like that.
When's pitchers and catchers? Like February 10th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th?
Yeah, it's early for them because they play March 20th.
Yeah.
And they travel like March 13th.
If we get to pitchers and catchers and they've still spent $0 in
yeah, it's going to be really weird.
Yeah, then we got a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got a major problem.
All right, what else?
Brock Trent Dilfer Purdy threw for 4 touchdowns yesterday. He now leads the league in touchdown passes with 29. Is that good?
February 13th, by the way.
February 1st.
Oh, February 13th. Okay.
Okay.
It is good.
Do you know that Trent Dilfer's career high in touchdown passes in a season was 21?
Not bad. Was that Super Bowl year? Had to be the Super Bowl
Multiple years. 97, 98. So
must have been not the Super Bowl years because they won in 2001.
Did they? Because he was with Seattle in 2001.
Yeah.
But they didn't win. Ravens did not win the Super Bowl in 1998.
Wait, what are we talking about?
You're talking about Trent Dilfer's
2000.
Okay, 2000. That's
12 touchdowns, 11 picks.
And they won the Super Bowl.
Basically Purdy this year.
It's basically Purdy.
All right, let me give you my second. Is that good for you? But I need to find it. Okay, Steph Curry's streak is over of consecutive games
so
where they
happy.
made three-pointer. It ends at 268 games with at least one made three-pointer. He scored just 7 points last night,
Got
Jim.
the dub.
He was 0 for 8 from beyond the arc.
Got the dub.
He nearly was the reason why they lost this huge game to the T-Wolves last night. Was it the T-Wolves?
No, it was the Trailblazers.
The Trailblazers last night. Anyway, Steph Curry,
Whole team start with the T.
0 for from beyond the arc for the first time since 2018, Brent. Is that good?
Cut him.
No, it's not good.
Trade him right now.
Guy's done.
He's washed. And finally, Christian McCaffrey, who should either finish first or second in MVP voting this year, scored 3 times yesterday. He now has 20 touchdowns on the year. And you might think to yourself, oh, that has to lead the league, right? No, it doesn't, which is crazy to even say because he is tied with former 49er Raheem Mostert with 20 total touchdowns on the year. So 2 guys in the NFL having 20 total touchdowns
with still lots of
3
football
games remaining. It's insane.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It is good.
I mean, the addition of 1 game in the NFL and just the way that the NFL is now with offenses goes, I mean, all these records are just going to be shattered.
That's my issue with records. It's like if the baseball season went from 162 to 154 or 162 to 164, like it changes kind of everything. NFL is not as motivated by records. Like, does anyone know the single season passing mark in yardage? No, is the answer.
It's like 5,000 something.
So no. Does anyone know the single season rushing touchdown record? The answer is no.
It had to be LT, or was it Sean Alexander?
33 or 34.
Okay.
Was it Alexander or LT? I know LT.
Does anyone know the single season passing touchdown record? Is it 55 or is it
56?
It's Brady.
I think.
But that it just feels different a little bit in the NFL. Like, at the end of the year, you're not like, man, that even the sack total. Like, do you know the sack single season?
Strahan at 20 something.
You know what I mean? We know the baseball mark in home runs.
762.
Or 73.
Or 73. 61.
Right, exactly.
No,
so it's just a little different.
It is, because do you know who leads the league or has the most passing yards of all time?
The most passing yards of the player all time is Tom Brady,
right?
Because it was Drew Brees.
It changed like every other year.
Well, they celebrated Drew Brees, and then Brady blew by him because he played longer than Brees.
Right. Do you know how many passing yards it was?
No clue.
Do
you?
No, I don't either.
Yeah, no clue. I couldn't tell you
touchdowns?
No clue. Isn't it like 500?
It's, I think, 600.
600? Yeah, it's a little different. By the way, my last one, we don't have the music anymore. The famous Toastery Bowl today. Western Kentucky came back from 28 points down to beat Old Dominion. Everyone's talking about it in the western portions of Kentucky. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to San Diego State's St. Catherine tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. San Diego State back after a 10-day layoff. We caught up with Chris Acker on Friday. Jaden Ledee back healthy, as Jim has been saying. Call 844-570-1360. Caller 7, those are your tickets. 2 free tickets for San Diego State, St. Catherine tomorrow at 7 at Viejas Arena. Again, the number to call is a great holiday gift. 844-570-1360. Call right now. 844-570-1360. 2 free tickets to San Diego State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. J.R. Tolver is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. We still have Trainwreck Radio, a lot to get to. Great giveaways. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, this hour, your chance to win Holiday Bowl tickets. On the other side, the wrap. Aztec for Life, J.R. Tolver joins the show at 5 p.m. Don't go anywhere.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Aztecs basketball returns tomorrow night at Viejas versus St. Catherine. 7 p.m. tip. 6 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Monday Night Football about 45 minutes away from kickoff in Seattle between the Eagles and the Seahawks. Jalen Hurts is expected to play tonight. He was dealing with a sickness. And Lakers basketball tonight, 7:15 tip-off. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples holiday deals mean amazing savings for the holiday seasons. This week, save $50 on the Xbox Series S with 3-month Game Pass Unlimited bundle, now just $249.99. Ends 12/23. Available online and select stores only. While supplies last, limited one. Have yourself a merry little holiday at Staples.
All right, coming up in 15 minutes, your chance to win Holiday Bowl tickets in the 5 o'clock hour. J.R. Tolver, the Aztec for Life, running the Aztec Link NIL Collective, will join us to talk a little bit about Sean Lewis's first month here on the Mesa and signing day coming up. And also in the 5 o'clock hour, your chance to win San Diego State basketball tickets for tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. So we got a lot going on over the next 90 minutes. We are a week out. Are we a week out from Christmas or less? It's a week.
We are a week out.
A week from today.
Have you done all your
What
shopping?
What have you got? What have you guys gotten me?
Let me answer that for you. What have you gotten me?
Oh,
question with a question. I
Nothing.
like that.
Nothing. But I figured you would be getting me something.
How in any world does that work?
It doesn't really make. Are we doing anything in exchange?
I mean, we could. We have to set a limit, like $20.
1,000.
You have to spend $1,000 on it.
$1,000. Okay, so we're not really planning anything.
If you want, I mean, my last day here is on Friday. So if you want to do something,
You're not going to be here Christmas Day.
No, neither will you. Neither will Brent.
What about Sports Wrap with NBC7?
Neither will
Next
Sports
Monday?
Wrap.
Okay.
And neither will the day after. And neither will the day after that.
So what are we saying? We don't really have to do anything. I mean, we are guys. Do guys get each other presents?
Yeah, all the time.
Well, you weren't planning to get him anything for anyone.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything unless you said something.
That's just such a typical like guy response.
I know, but I'm never opposed to buying someone a gift. Like if you would you get your brother something?
No,
No,
but my nephew.
So
I'm bad with names. Is my brother's son my nephew?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get my
So
nephew.
you wouldn't buy your brother a gift?
No,
What?
come on. He's
Or
70. He's 50.
Yeah,
I'm not buying. Why?
What do you mean? Why?
He's not 9.
For your family. You buy gifts for your family.
We
on
are
Christmas.
family. You're right.
I don't.
Or friends.
Thank you, Brent.
You don't buy your family gifts?
What are you
No.
buying your
What?
brother?
What is happening here?
What? It's family. What is it? We're not 8.
You don't buy anybody gifts for anybody for holidays?
Kristen.
Peanut.
Yeah. Jones, my 4-year-old.
What is happening right now?
Is that weird?
You don't buy gifts for your family?
No, because
No.
my parents know I'm broke, so they'd probably be like, "No, just go get food instead of spending money on getting us food, which we don't need." So I was like, "Okay," and I don't talk to my sister, so I don't buy her anything. So
Wait, hold on. Back up. Breaking
Yeah.
news. You have a sister?
You
Yeah.
didn't know that?
I did not know this.
Dude, that's because you don't listen.
Listen, when has
Gym
Brett
facts.
ever talked about
Thank
his
you.
sister?
He's mentioned her.
I've mentioned
Yeah,
her occasionally.
Absolutely.
I've
He has.
never. The breaking news to me.
You don't know that?
No, clearly because I'm saying I didn't know that.
You know he's also like royalty, right?
What?
From his Welsh background?
No, you're messing
Yeah,
with me.
no,
now.
no,
Stop,
no, no,
stop. No,
He
stop.
is related to royalty.
Nope. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
2 truths and a lie.
Yeah, I looked at Brett and he started laughing,
He's
and I was like, no, it's not.
All right, let's-
Where would I be from, Jim, if I was Welsh?
From over the seas, over Welsh.
Over the
That's
seas
close enough
in
for
Welsh. You'd be from Welsh. You'd be from where the whales live. Where the whales live.
Australia?
70470 started with team. Is it weird not to get your family presents for Christmas?
Yes. That's
Maybe.
very. I think it's.
Let's get to this.
Is Brock Purdy the favorite to win NFL MVP? That's rhetorical. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is the favorite. Like he's
He
like,
actually is
he's
like
Minus
mathematically.
160. Yeah.
he actually is the favorite to win MVP this year. The question is,
Will he win it?
should Brock Purdy win the MVP this year?
And he says no. He says he should not. It should go to Christian McCaffrey.
I do.
No, he does. Brock Purdy does.
I know he
says
does.
it should go to Christian McCaffrey, right?
Like if I'm playing chess here while everyone else is playing checkers, Brock Purdy winning the MVP, probably gonna in a couple years make that contract worth
More money.
a little bit more than if he didn't win the MVP. He's having a fantastic year, and no one can deny that. But if you win the MVP, I mean, in 2 years' time, actually 3 years' time, because I think if you're a 7th round pick, you can't negotiate a contract until you're
After your 5th year?
after your 4th year.
Well,
But
4th. This isn't his first year. So it's
second.
Yeah, so 2 years.
It's 2 years left.
Yeah.
And then he can negotiate a contract. But I mean, imagine if they win the Super Bowl and he happens to imagine that he wins the Super Bowl this year, he wins the Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP. Dude, if I'm his agent, I'm like, bro, all the money.
I don't know. I mean, sure, he's got 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,800 passing yards, leads the NFL in QBR.
And quarterback rating and completion percentage is like second.
I just need to see it.
he needs to
see
not
more.
throw to wide open receivers.
I need to see what he does this weekend on
Yeah.
Christmas night.
He needs to throw harder passes to receivers than the easier passes.
I would give it to
Dude, that touchdown by Christian McCaffrey where he literally fell down and then had time to get up and then walk in.
That's crazy. Next question.
Are you excited for early National Signing Day on Wednesday?
Dude, I'm pumped. All me and John have been doing has been texting back and forth, like commits.
Yeah.
What Sean Lewis has already done here, what this coaching staff has already done, is exactly what you wanted to see if you're an Aztecs fan. It's not to the level of like Alabama or Georgia or Oregon. We get that. But if you're an Aztecs fan, you wanted to feel excitement in this offseason going into next year. I guarantee you right now, that spring game coming up, that's to me, like if you're an Aztecs fan, like you have to go to that just to see what Sean Lewis is building here at San Diego State. Is it going to work year one? Who knows? But already right now, Yeah, I'm excited about Wednesday.
Yeah, he's got a huge class for an early signing day period. Traditionally, under Brady Hoke, it wouldn't be as many student athletes. Well, that's because also they didn't have as many players in the portal the last couple of years, but you have all these players in the portal, which, by the way, is not like unprecedented. If you look around college football, Georgia has nearly the same number of players in the portal than San Diego State. But he's got a big prep class. He's got transfers coming in like AJ Duffy, the Florida State recruit out of the Inland Empire. So he's got a huge class that he's building right now. And there's going to be a big fluctuation. You're probably looking at something like 30 or 40 more or new scholarship players in 2024 for San Diego State, with the players that are gone via the portal, with the players that have graduated. So it's not going to be a class of 30 or 40 right now in the early signing period, but it's going to be 15 or 20 right now. And he's really had some impact verbal commits over the last few days. He really has, with the Danny O'Neills and the AJ Duffys and some of the work he's done over the weekend as well. It's going to be exciting Wednesday. All right, next question.
Is the Niners-Ravens Christmas Day game the game of the year in the NFL?
I don't see how it's not. You have the two best teams in the NFL, I would say. I mean, watching last night's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we texted about this. I did not. This is an amazing stat. The Ravens have not trailed in any game up until the 2-minute warning, and they've led for 90% of the season.
Yeah, now 91.
91% of the season, because they led all the way through last night's game. They have led in game. I mean, that is an insane stat. The Niners, I don't think even are close to that.
No, they've led a lot, but that does beg the question: what happens if Baltimore finds themselves in a big game trailing?
Correct. That is definitely a question.
Right.
I think you have to say that Monday night, Christmas night, yay,
it's huge,
is the biggest game of the year because it's the two best teams. All the analytics, like the advanced analytics, have them number 1 and 2 in like everything.
And it could decide MVP because Jackson and Purdy would be 1-2.
Jackson is not the MVP. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. Look,
6 touchdowns.
Jackson is one of the best players in the NFL. I will give him that. But if you're telling me that if MVP is just on stats, which it is, it's not a valuable player award, because we've always can talk about value for players. There's other players like, oh, this guy's more valuable than this guy, blah, blah, blah. Right? What he's doing is not, to me, stand out, oh my God, MVP numbers.
No, I mean, he doesn't have the same numbers as Brock Purdy currently. He's had a really good year, but he's not at the same numbers.
But you have to count his rushing numbers.
Yeah, but he hasn't been the same runner he was 4 years ago, right?
No, but he still has like 7 rushing touchdowns and almost 700 yards, which is,
Yeah, that's big. Listen,
you can't just throw him out and just go, well, Purdy doesn't have rushing yards, so don't count those.
If Baltimore wins this game on Christmas night 35-7 and he counts for 5 touchdowns and Purdy doesn't look good, then that could be impactful. But if this is a 31-28 Baltimore win over San Francisco, I don't think that impacts Brock Purdy as still the front runner for NFL MVP.
The potential
would be my guess.
The potential for my Christmas to be ruined is
it's high.
I don't like the chances, but hey,
you don't like the chances? What's the line?
I do. No, I do like the chances.
Okay, good.
I do, because it's, hey, look, the Ravens, Niners, go at it. Potential Super Bowl matchup. It's gonna be interesting to see.
What's the betting line, Brent?
Niners by 4, I think.
Oh, really? That's okay. It's more than I would have thought.
No, Niners by 5.5.
Wow, that's a big number.
5.5.
Wow. Okay. Last question.
What's the ceiling on the Aztecs with the return of Jaden Ledee?
Really good. I mean, they need Jaden Ledee. No question about that. They needed him healthy. But it was a nice test for this team to see how they perform without him. Almost a week ago now.
Yeah, 10 days ago.
It's been a while.
Yep.
You would have liked to not see like it always go down to the last minute in the last seconds of a game, because you're playing with fire there, but they got the dub, they got the win. It was a good test, and their ceiling is very high.
Yeah, I think it's high, and I do like the emergence of Jay Powell off their bench without Jaden Ledee. I think that's crucial for them to develop this bench further, whether it's Darian Trammell, who we know about, Jay Powell, Miles Heide, Bird, right? Like this combination, this bench, for it to continue to pay dividends, I do think that's important. I don't think it's the end all be all. They didn't have a very deep bench. They didn't get a lot of scoring in 2020 when they went 30-2, but I think the ceiling's very high. I really do. You watch Jaden Ledee, he's been one of the best players in the country this year. All right. Call right now because the first two callers will be contestants for Trainwreck Radio. We have a great prize today. This is an amazing holiday gift. It's 2 free tickets to the Holiday Bowl, which is like a week away, next week at Petco Park on the 27th, just over a week away. SC and Louisville at Petco Park. First two callers will be our contestants. You need to call 844-570-1360. We'll play trivia. First two callers will be our contestants. 844-570-1360. Call right now if you want a chance to win those Holiday Bowl tickets. That's next. All right, Trainwreck Radio on the other side. J.R. Tolver, the Aztec for Life, will join us at 5 p.m. Stay with us. Fernando Tatis Jr. is playing for Estrellas this winter for his dad in the Dominican.
He's in center field tonight.
Right. So there was speculation he might play some short. I think that's been nixed by the Padres.
Oh, yeah?
He's DH'd. He's played right. Tonight he's in center. And not only is he in center, he just hit a bomb out to left field.
700 feet.
No, longer than that, Jim. Much longer than that.
So like around like 850?
Dude, did you see their lineup, by the way, today? Their lineup for this team is like a better lineup than the Padres. I mean, it was a very good lineup that they're putting out there.
Well, I mean, Jerkson Profar is already playing some first base for them, getting ready for the Padres when they eventually sign him to a 1-year, $2 million contract.
That's true.
So,
I mean, you'd like to see Tatis have a nice winter hitting the ball. And
hey,
he did better than he did last year.
This. Do you?
No. I was against him playing short. And I would, if it was up to me, he doesn't need to play. If he gets hurt, I'll stick by what I said initially.
Well, when he's hitting 700-foot home runs.
First of all, this ball barely cleared the wall. Let's watch this again. I bet this ball, if we had whatever the heck it's called.
Barely cleared the wall.
Barely cleared the wall.
Bro.
This is hit not 400 feet. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Dude, the left fielder didn't even move.
Well, that's because he's like lazy. It's 330 to left. Look at this.
Where's the ball?
Look at this.
Where's the ball? Okay, I see it.
Watch.
Okay, all right.
He hit that 355
Barely.
feet. Like literally just went over the wall.
700 feet.
331 feet. All right, let's get to this.
Three questions, two contestants, one lifeline. Today's two contestants, we have Terry and Rudy. Terry, you called in first. You have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll go with John, please.
All right, so was that Terry?
Terry.
All right, Terry and John, I like it.
Rudy, you get me, okay?
Yes.
Sorry, Rudy.
Go, Jim.
All right, let's go, buddy. Brent, what's today's question of the day?
All right, guys, the Seahawks host the Eagles tonight on Monday Night Football. Today's question, can you name the 8 players in Seahawks history with 5,000 or more passing yards for Seattle?
Oh, boy.
So today's question, name the 8 Eagles players.
No, Seahawks.
All right, got my birds mixed up. Name the 8 Seahawks players with 5,000 or more passing yards for Seattle.
All right. Seattle quarterbacks with 5,000 or more passing yards. Rudy, you're up first. Are you going to take the layup?
I got to go with Russell Wilson.
There you go. Easy layup.
I was about to say Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
Finger roll up,
Yeah.
right in the bucket. Terry, you're up next. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Can I do a lifeline?
John is. Oh, no.
I mean, first of all, I couldn't even tell you who's starting for Seattle right now. Well, here's what I'm going to say based on last
it's not
year.
him.
It's not him.
Oh, well,
I
Brett.
would. Okay. Oh, interesting. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm thinking, is it the same starter they had a year? I'm going to say Geno Smith.
Just okay. Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. Is he their current quarterback?
Sounds good.
Geno. Oh, how about that?
What?
Well, he started last year. Is he still there?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying Brent. Is who? Geno Smith. How many passing yards does he have as a Seahawk?
Just under 8,000.
Thank you, Jim. Come on. Don't question my Seahawks knowledge. All right, back to round 2. Who's up?
Rudy, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Let me try Matt Hasselbeck.
Matt Hasselbeck.
That's a nice
Boom.
guess. Yeah.
Very good guess.
All right.
All right, Terry, you're up next, man. What's your second guess? You do not have a lifeline, so it's all up to you.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith was already.
Yeah, Geno's been said.
We just said
Yep.
Geno. Do you have another guess?
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon.
Wow.
Pulled that one out of.
I kind of like it though. That
I kinda,
okay.
I kind of like it too. Rudy, your final guess, and you do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Okay. Jim, help me out here.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, Jim. Mr. Brock Purdy.
Mr. Brock Purdy.
You've been watching Seahawks games your whole life in this division.
Yeah, and Russell
Your whole
Wilson's
life.
been like there forever.
True. You're only
And then Matt Hasselbeck
29
before
or
that.
whatever.
Oh man, dude,
Come on, you can't go back to the 70s, Kingdom, 80s. Come on,
Warren Moon.
what were you doing during your childhood?
Dude? Oh man. This is no, because he did. I was gonna say Matt Flynn, but
Say it.
no, because I know that's not the right answer. No way through 5,000 passes.
Wow. Wait. Well,
What are you
okay.
doing?
Jim didn't get. Are you're calling him out on time?
Yeah. You know,
Okay,
we,
well,
we
then
don't, we
let-
don't have the rest
I'm
of the
gonna
show.
guess. Can I still guess?
You can
still
guess.
guess,
What do you
yeah.
got?
The lifeline.
Yeah, you can guess.
Jim Zorn.
Jim Zorn.
Wow. Better than Jim Russell in this instance.
Terry, to send this to overtime, what is your final guess? You don't have a lifeline.
Yeah, I got Dave Craig.
Who?
All right. After some slow starts, people found the internet, which is going to send us to overtime.
All right.
Wow.
Brent, give us the question and rules of overtime.
All right, how overtime works is I'm going to ask a question. When I'm done asking the question, you are going to yell at the name of your teammate today. Don't yell the answer. You're going to yell John or Jim. Whoever yells out the name of their teammate first, you are going to win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. You guys got it?
Yep.
Got it.
Okay. Today's question. Have the Seahawks ever won a Super Bowl?
Jim.
I heard Jim.
I heard Jim twice.
Rudy.
Yes, they won one Super Bowl.
That
with,
is correct. They lost another as well. I don't know how many times they've been to a Super Bowl. They went back to back.
Twice.
Is that the only two?
I think so.
Okay, well, they did win one.
Yeah.
And they lost one.
Yeah.
But that counts as a win because they
Does.
win one.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. Who else is on this list?
All right. Wilson's first. Hasselbeck is second. Dave Craig is third. Zorn is fourth. Rick Meyer is fifth. That would have been my guess. Then Gino, John Kitna.
Oh, wow.
Oh, John
Seven.
Kitna.
Come on, Jim.
And then Warren Moon.
All right, congratulations to Rudy. You have won a pair of tickets to the 44th annual DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Louisville from the ACC, USC, 11-time national champion from the Pac-12. Wednesday, December 27th at 5 p.m. Broadcast live on Fox and San Diego Sports 760, Petco Park, downtown San Diego. 2 free tickets for Rudy. Next hour, J.R. Tolver, the Aztec for Life, will join us. His thoughts on the job that Sean Lewis is doing here on the Mesa in just a few short weeks, plus this recruiting class, plus what's going on with Aztec Link, his NIL collective around San Diego State football. Also in the 5 o'clock hour, your chance to win another pair of tickets for San Diego State basketball tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. But the Aztec for Life, J.R. Tolver, he will join us next on John and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. We'll start with the Aztecs. They return back to action tomorrow night at Viejas Arena versus St. Catharines. 6 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. 7 p.m. tip-off right here on San Diego Sports 760. Tonight we have Lakers basketball, 7:15 tip. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And Monday Night Football, moments away from kickoff in Seattle between the Eagles and the Seahawks. Jalen Hurts will play and start tonight for the Eagles. Also, Drew Lock will start tonight for the Seahawks. Staples holiday deals mean amazing savings for the holiday season. This week, save $50 on the Xbox Series S. Do you know what that is, John?
Yeah, it's the new system.
With 3-month Game Pass unlimited bundle, now just $249.99. Ends 12/23. Available online and in select stores only while supplies last. Limited to one. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. This hour, we're giving away tickets for tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. San Diego State back in the floor. Aztec St. Catherine. That will be tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760. We'll give away tickets coming up this hour. We caught up earlier in the show with Bill O'Boyle. He's the new offensive line coach for San Diego
He was
State.
holding out on us. He didn't tell us what was going on.
What do you mean?
Are you about to get to the commit that just was announced on?
Oh, no, I'm
media?
about to get to Jared Tolver, but if you'd like to do that, we can do that.
Well, I don't have it in front of me anymore. Who is it?
That's great. Well, they've had so many commits in recent days.
From Akron.
They've
right?
just added a grad transfer or a transfer via the portal from Akron.
Offensive lineman.
Correct.
That's where I thought you were going.
It's not where I was going. J.R. Tolver is with us. Aztec Link. He's been running that NIL collective. We've been telling you about butler@thebuzzer.com as well. That great collectible, that amazing holiday gift that you guys have been working with Lamont on for the last couple of months on. J.R. Tolver, the Aztec for Life, back with us here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. J.R., we always appreciate it. I know you did something yesterday with Sean Lewis related to the collective as well. What have these first couple of weeks been like from your perspective? Sean Lewis gets hired. He's been on the job for less than 3 weeks. What do you make of it from afar, but not just from afar, running Aztec Link as well?
Yeah, you know, I was able to go to his press conference, and the first thing I made of it was, holy moly, this guy looks like a power forward and not a football coach. I mean, he's 6'7", booming voice, you know, young, energetic. So it's really kind of good to see him in person and to see his energy in the room. And he impressed me. He impressed me with his knowledge of the history of San Diego State. He talked about Don Coryell. He talked about Rocky Long. He talked about, you know, a lot of the stuff that has happened on the field for the Aztecs. So he's obviously someone who is a historian of the game, and he definitely did his research as it pertains to coming to San Diego. And he said something that, you know, I truly believe. He said, listen, when I was trying to make a decision on what my next move was going to be, I looked at San Diego State as the best group of 5 job in the entire country. And he said, you probably can't even really call it that, because the reality is, with the expanded CFP and NIL and the transfer portal, between the group of 5 and the being able to do for San Diego State football with Coach Fisher and Coach Dusher did with San Diego State basketball, which is making it a national name as quickly as possible.
JR, it's only been a short period of time since he's been the coach here, but in this short period of time, do you think he has done enough for the program to put it at a level for the fans to be like, okay, I want to go watch them play now. Obviously, there's a lot more to do, but on the right track, you would say, to make sure the fan base is as excited as they possibly can for the upcoming season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you look at the San Diego State fan base, we're built on high-powered offense. I mean, from day one, from Don Coryell and what he did here at San Diego State, from the Marshall Falk era, and how they would go out and just put touchdown on touchdown on the board. And I think that's what San Diego State, the San Diego community, is used to when it comes to Aztec football. Over the last 13 years, we've been really successful in the win-loss category, but we haven't been as successful offensively. And Jim, we talked about this a lot on the pregame show. San Diego is a place where winning is really important, but winning with style is probably as important, right? So I think what Coach Lewis has done is he's brought his reputation to the table. He's a football coach that he's not gonna not score points, put the ball in the air, be aggressive offensively, and I think that Aztec fans are excited about that. I mean, there still hasn't been a snap had or a pass thrown, but I think this opportunity, the guy that is now calling the plays has a track record of scoring lots of points and winning lots of games in the process.
JR Tolver with us, Aztec for Life, heading up the Aztec Link Collective as well. So I'm curious, JR, because we're seeing how active the staff has been on social media, but I'm seeing Aztec fans as well that have been very active and supportive here of the program over the last couple of weeks as well. What's been the impact of this hire on your Aztec Link Collective?
Our subscribers have increased almost 20%
Nice.
over the last 3 weeks. We have brought, I'm going to say, opportunities in the collective that have exceeded, almost fully exceeded the opportunities that we had created, over the last 12 months or so. So we do believe that with Coach Lewis, the opportunity that he's bringing, to San Diego, and the visibility he's very, very comfortable about talking about NIL. Very comfortable. He understands that it's just a new piece of recruiting here in this era. He takes it head on. He kind of says, whether you like it or you don't, it's a part of college football these days, college sports these days. And the teams, the programs that figure it out are the programs that are going to be hoisting trophies over their head at the end of the season. So he's pro NIL. He definitely wants the community to support not only the program, but to support the NIL program. And he hasn't been shy at all about making that known.
What have you heard in talking to maybe former alums or, other fans or maybe parents or other student athletes? Like, what have you heard from people that, follow the Aztecs or maybe our alums here about, their feelings on Sean Lewis and the direction of the program?
There's a lot of excitement. And again, I think it goes back to you've hired somebody who has proven, he had a season where he rushed for 3,500 yards and threw for 3,500 yards in the same season. I talked to Bob Moosberger, who is now the AD here at San Diego State, one of the ADs at San Diego State, but he used to be the AD at Bowling Green. And he said, we played Sean Lewis 5 times when I was at Bowling Green and he was at Kent State. We went 0 for 5, and they scored 42 points on average against us. Matter of fact, they scored 62 points twice.
Oh.
Right? So when you look at his ability to use his football IQ to generate results on the football field, I really think that excites Aztec fans. Now, granted, that stuff doesn't happen by chance, which is why it's been so cool to see, the AJ Duffy commitment, the Danny O'Neal commitment, two quarterbacks who are well renowned in their own right want to come to San Diego State and play for Coach Lewis. That's attracting wide receivers. It's attracting, offensive linemen. It's attracting the right type of people to the program. And again, there's never been a football game that was won in spring ball, but I think it's given the Aztec fans something to look forward to.
JR, you did something really unique with San Diego State Athletics on the NIL front, which was a partnership with Lamont Butler on this butleratthebuzzer.com collectible that we told Aztec fans and sports fans in San Diego about over the last couple of weeks. How has that process gone? And will there be more unique offerings like that in the days and weeks and months and years ahead? And for our listeners, if they're still interested, I mean, we're a week in front of Christmas. There were only, a couple of hundred of these available. The Lamont Butler signed collectible item from the Final Four. Can they still pick those up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we did the Lamont Butler signing at L. Smith a couple of weeks ago. That was really awesome, John. It was great to see you there along with some other media. And Lamont, sat down and he greeted the fans. We had a great time. He signed all of the pieces. The reason we had to do it in one sitting was because the signatures were being authenticated by an authenticator, because it is a collectible. So the authenticator was there. Lamont was, signing it. The authenticator authenticated it, and then all the pieces were numbered. So whatever number you purchase in that collectible, just know that that's one of one in a limited edition. And now we have those collectibles. They're framed. We have almost 60 or 70% of those have already been sold. So we would definitely encourage Aztec fans who have Aztec fans in their life that would appreciate this special moment in Aztec history to go to butleratthebuzzer.com and pick one up. Proceeds benefit the Lamont Butler's NIL opportunities, and it also benefits San Diego State student athletes through the work that we're doing through the collective. So yeah, I would definitely say go to butleratthebuzzer.com, grab you one. Be a great holiday present for any Aztec fan.
Yeah, I saw him, like you said, JR. It was awesome seeing you whenever it was, a week or so ago. These are spectacular. I mean, you need to see these. These are spectacular. If you have an Aztec fan or a San Diego sports fan in your life, I know a lot of you do, you need to check this out. It's an amazing holiday gift. Great collectible. There's only just over 200 of these available. And like JR just said, 60 or 70% of them have already been accounted for. butleratthebuzzer.com. JR, always appreciate it. Look forward to doing it again soon. And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Happy holidays, guys.
All right. Happy holidays, JR Tolver, the Aztec for life.
I think every former Aztec alum, Aztec fan has the same sentiment as JR. I mean, I heard today with Kirk Morrison, he's excited about it. We see a lot of Aztecs fans excited about this. Now, again, they have to go out and win, and they have to go out and, live up to all the talk that they're doing, but it's not something that, we're waiting to see if he can actually do it, because he's done it before.
Sure.
And so you hope that he gets the right players in here, that the quarterbacks that he's brought in, maybe he brings in more quarterbacks. I don't know. That they perform, and that this offense over time becomes the offense that he had at Kent State. And, for the first, 8 games at Colorado, I mean, they were the best. I mean, offensive wise, they averaged over 400 yards of offense
and almost over 30 something points,
over 30 points. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited. I am.
I think there's a lot of people that are excited. To your point, of course, you're going to have to do it on field, and everything takes time. I mean, there are examples of programs going from 4-8 to a new head coach to 11-1, and there's others that it's a process, because you're going to have a lot of change, which is very commonplace right now in college football. They will have between 30 and 40 new scholarship players next year. There's only 85 scholarships. They've signed, it appears as if, for this early signing period, whether it's prep route or via the portal, they've signed 20-plus players, it appears here, and there's still more work to be done with the portals open, with a later signing window. So you're going to have 30 to 40 new scholarship players. How long or how short does it take to get everyone pulling in the same direction? Like, I know nothing about that. And it's kind of fascinating to watch that play out. But Colorado went through something Colorado went through much more change than San Diego State's going to go through in 2024. All right, we are on a couple of watches. We're waiting on some of the free agents to fall in Major League Baseball, right? Yamamoto, Snell, Bellinger. We're waiting on the Padres to spend a penny this offseason. They haven't. Now, they've made trades. We talked about it. Scott Barlow, Juan Soto, obviously. This past week, Matt Carpenter gets moved. They have freed up resources and funds. We've seen quotes as well from A.J. Preller within the last couple of days saying, hey, once we get to January, once maybe, I'm paraphrasing, players get a little more desperate, then you'll see us be a little more active in free agency. But we're waiting for things to occur before the Padres do things, which is a little atypical compared to where the Padres were over the last 4 or 5 years.
And it's not time to fully panic yet. It's not been a great offseason.
Right.
It's actually sucked. His offense, there's no way around it. This offseason has sucked. But I don't think it's time to panic. And I don't think it's fair to say that this team is tanking, right? Or this team is rebuilding. I know you think that potentially that could be the case. But
if they don't spend, then I won't call it a rebuild. I'll be upset because it feels like they duped everybody. Like, what are we doing here? You guys are you're just pocketing all this money now. And that's the last thing that you want to see is owners pocketing money or organizations pocketing money. Because, I mean, come on, guys, it's about winning, right? So I'm not in panic yet mode, but I am definitely in like I don't like it, but I still have to wait and see. I'm not happy with it as like fully yet, but we'll see what happens. You know how, again, I go back to this comp thing. It's Christmas Day. You know, you get a nice selection of gifts. You're 9. Okay, you get some clothes in there. Were you hoping for clothes? Probably not. You get like a game for the game system you have, but you were hoping for like the new game system. And then your best friend, Billy, is that your best friend?
No.
Whatever. Your best friend, he gets no clothes. He gets all toys. He gets the new system. Not only does he get the game you got, he gets like 5 more. It's like, it was a fine Christmas. You were hoping for a little bit more out of Christmas, and now it's even worse because Billy got everything. And when you compare it to Billy, it's even a worse Christmas than if you didn't have Billy as a friend.
You can't compare.
But don't you kind of have to?
No,
when you can't
don't.
win this division ever, when you're always looking up at other teams in the division.
They have to worry about themselves.
Right.
Okay. They have to get their ducks in order. They have to get their payroll to a level that they deem good. And they are staying away from the luxury tax. Plain and simple. You know, for anybody out there that is crying or saying like, what's the plan? What's the plan? The plan is what they've laid it out there pretty clear to you. They are cutting payroll. They are getting under the luxury tax. They are waiting till the market, kind of dies down a little bit. And then they're going to go out and they're going to make acquisitions and signings and whatever else.
Trades maybe. Yep.
And then if we get to the start of spring training and they haven't done any of that, then we light them up and say, what the F? And this is ridiculous.
And again, now it's like we're almost like switching roles. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I am curious, how do you complement the roster? Is it via spend?
Well, the questions are all valid
via
for sure.
Trade, or is it via the system? And if it's more predominantly relying on the system, then I'll probably think to myself, well, your system's not ready, because I see what's in your system and you didn't have players finishing the year that were on the cusp of the major leagues that are your top 5 or 10 prospects. You might have guys that could impact you in 2024 at some point, but not necessarily out of camp. So I think it's a combination of you need players out of your system to contribute from day one. You need real major league free agent signings to finish this roster. And you may need to complement this roster with trades for major league ready talent, which means potentially trading away a prospect or 2 as well. And we just wait and see how they do it. They're going to do it. It's just how do they do it will determine my overall feeling on where they are heading into 2024.
It's perfectly fine to have questions right now. Perfectly fine. I'm not saying to not have questions. I have questions too.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is don't come to the ultimate conclusion during these questions that you have that ultimately, they have a month and a half, maybe more than that, to answer some of these questions.
You've changed since Thursday and Friday, have you not?
No.
Haven't you been like, it's December 15th, no moves?
No, my thing was, it's a weird feeling that it's December 15th and they've made no moves. I'm not like, they have to make a move. What's going on here? What the F? No, it for me, this is different. This doesn't feel like the Padres of the last 5 years. To have no free agent signings and to spend zero money at this time, in the year, and they have so many holes to fill and all of that. Like, those are the questions I have. How are you going to do it? Who are they going to get? They have so many holes to fill. Can they do it? But I never was like, at December 15th, what the hell's going on here? It's more or less, they have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of questions and that need to be answered. And can they do it?
Yeah, I think we have to remember Manny Machado 2 years ago was second in MVP voting, but he's coming off an elbow. Fernando Tatis Jr. now 3 seasons ago, hit 42 home runs, but again, a lot has happened since then. Xander Bogaerts is a 2-time world champ. Musgrove's been great as a Padre previously, not as much last year because of health. Darvish is getting older, but has had great seasons, including in 2022. You just hope you get the best from your best. Yeah. That's what they need, because they have so much tied up in 4, 5, 6 guys that they need the best from their best. All right, Jim's back page is still ahead. On the other side, more on the Padres' quiet off season. Plus, we'll give away tickets to San Diego State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena against St. Catherine. We'll do that on the other side. San Diego State, St. Catherine tomorrow at Viejas Arena. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in the past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7%, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months. It's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high rate a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote. Here's the number: 619-207-4336, or go to loanpronto.com. Again, write this down: 619-207-4336. That's 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Seahawks. Eagles march down the field to score first. They lead 7-0 with 6:31 left in the first quarter. Drew Lock starting tonight in place of Geno Smith. Aztecs return to action tomorrow night at Viejas Arena versus St. Catherine, 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip-off right here on San Diego Sports 760. And Lakers basketball tonight on San Diego Sports 760, 7:15 tip-off there. Staples holiday deals mean amazing savings for the holiday season. This week, save $50 on the Xbox Series S with 3-month Game Pass Unlimited bundle.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's Xbox. Now just $249.99, ends 12/23. Available online in select stores only while supplies last, limited to one. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
All right, we'll give away Aztec basketball tickets momentarily in the next handful of minutes. Be listening for that tomorrow night. We have tickets for tomorrow night, San Diego State, St. Catherine. So Kirk Kenny just published something in the UT. San Diego State's up to 21 players in this class.
Jeez.
Whether it's via high school or the portal. They've actually added more in the portal than former San Diego State players have announced they've left or committed. So they have 9 players in the portal coming in. 8 players have left.
Okay.
Or signed. More than 8 have left. 8 players have signed elsewhere via the portal.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah.
21 players so far in the class. Expectation is it's going to grow a lot larger than that.
I mean, that's what happens. A first-year head coach pretty much having to change mostly the entire program, right? You're going to see a lot of turnover the first year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of turnover. And that speaks to the excitement level for Aztecs fans because, nothing against any of the players that were formerly here, but the record was the record, and they were 4-8 last year. So the idea that the same players coming back to be better than that, I mean, you're like, with just a new coach, probably something that Aztecs fans are like, I don't know about that. So going forward, you're going to see a lot of turnover. Absolutely. And you're going to get his guys in here. And we'll see how it goes, but doesn't mean you can't win right away.
Sure. I agree with that. I do.
I think you can win right away just because the turnover in football is so much. I would not be surprised at all if they actually win next year.
Honestly, there's some similarities in different ways between what the Padres are going through now and what the Aztecs football team is going through now. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people would tell you coming off 82 and 80 what they're losing. You'd be like, well, hold on. Can they actually be better with what they are losing coming off the disappointment of last year? And then with San Diego State, you might say to yourself, well, hold on. They went 4-8 and they're losing some key pieces from a team that only went 4-8. Can they actually be better next year? You have to see the thing out. That's the same thing with the Padres. We have no idea what the opening day roster looks like. We don't know what the competition looks like around them. It doesn't feel like it's going to be easy. I'd say the same thing about San Diego State. We don't know what it's going to look like when it's a finished product. It doesn't appear to be easy when you look at their schedule. West play. And there's plenty of time between now and the start of the Aztecs season. Just like there's plenty of time between now and the start of the Padres season. So, I see that. I see some similarities. They're different, but I also see some similarities. Like the idea that, well, they weren't good last year and they're losing pieces, so they're not going to be good next year. Well, I don't know if you can jump to that conclusion.
Would you also say that potential excitement level for this program going forward now is because, one, it gives you that hope in college football with the kind of playoffs? I mean, it would.
Yeah.
Look, it's not easy. It won't be easy, and we have to see how the first year pans out with the Power 5 or the non-Power 5, 5 schools, excuse me, where they're slotted in. But
probably just one.
And I think that's okay.
Better than zero.
Mm-hmm. So it gives you that ability and the idea, and you can go there with your thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Before, you couldn't even go there with your thought process.
Right.
If you're an Aztecs fan, you're not making the college football playoffs. 4 teams, just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you went undefeated, you might make a New Year's 6, but you're not making the college football playoff. Now, 12 teams, you can actually go there with your thinking and your thought process. And another thing too is, I want to see Snapdragon Stadium not only just full capacity for an Aztecs for a big Aztecs football game that actually means something, but I want to see it last for an entire game, and I want to see what a true home field advantage looks like, because I think we could see that with Sean Lewis. We could definitely see that if they play up to their potential, and if they play to a level that we think they can get to, which is exciting offense, winning, fast paced. The idea of a full Snapdragon Stadium for 40 minutes, 48 minutes,
I think I'd say 60.
60 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm thinking basketball for some reason.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
That would
because
be-
you're
that's
making
exciting.
a comp, because you're doing this comp. It's a fair comp. Viejas Arena,
I can't
what
do
it
math.
means to San Diego State basketball. Could
Yeah.
Snapdragon Stadium mean the same thing to
Right.
San Diego State football? And by the way, there was a day, we all know it, Viejas wasn't Viejas.
right.
So that took time.
Yeah.
And now that you're into a second head coach at Snapdragon Stadium, now that you're reinventing the offense, again, maybe it doesn't happen overnight. Maybe their opener isn't 37,000 people for the entirety of the game. But to your point, can they build the culture
Mhm.
where Snapdragon has the same impact on San Diego State football that Viejas has right now in San Diego State basketball? I'm going to throw out a number. You tell me higher or lower. Okay.
Okay.
275. Higher or lower?
For what?
Let's just say it.
Higher?
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, his contract, the bidding is now underway where teams are now making offers. There were reports within the last day that weren't necessarily accurate that two teams had already made $300 million offers, but we're told that the first offers are actually coming in this week. But the question is this Japanese stud rotation piece, top of the rotation Yamamoto, right? 300 million, Jim? $300 million. Now try to put that in compare that. 300 million for a starter. That's crazy, isn't it? Who's gotten more than 300 million from a starting
Garrett
perspective?
Cole has
Yeah.
gotten I think
Yeah,
around
300. But I mean, okay, so Garrett Cole, who had a ton of success in the major leagues, gets 300 million from the Yankees. So this guy coming over from Japan is Garrett Cole immediately. There's got to be some more risk with Yamamoto than there would be with like Garrett Cole.
I'm more curious to see what Blake Snell's contract's going to look like.
No, I'm not, because this is going to impact Blake Snell's contract.
I know, that's what I mean. I'm curious to see how, once Yamamoto signs, what Blake Snell's deal looks like.
Well, my point is, if this guy gets 300 million, then the whole soft Snell market, you don't
Heats
give
up.
Yamamoto 300 and then Snell 90. He's
Yeah.
not 3 for 30.
And Bob Nightingale, say whatever you want about Bob, boob.
Yeah.
You know, there has been links to the Giants.
Yes.
So that scenario that we're talking about, like opening day next year, you have your Cy Young Award winner and your former manager opening day at Petco Park. Not great.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Not great.
Well, there's been links to the Giants with Yamamoto and Snell.
I still think that, and I put him with the Dodgers. Like, I still think the Dodgers need more pitching. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to LA. I mean, you have Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman all making the pitch here to Yamamoto. Like, come on, man. Why would you turn that down? Maybe for more money in New York, but
Is he going to get more money in New York? I mean, with all the deferred money on LA's books, can't they give him as much as he needs? They can defer money to him too. It's the thing. It's in vogue. But my point is this: if Yamamoto gets $300 million, and there's kind of reasons to believe it might happen, because you got teams like the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Dodgers, and the Yankees, the Mets bidding. You have these huge bidders, and I think 300 is crazy. To be honest with you, his career numbers are ridiculous in Japan.
Like a 1.82 career ERA.
His numbers are ridiculous. But if he gets 300 million, I have a hard time believing Blake Snell can't get half of that. Is my point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Snell's only 30.
I know.
Yamamoto's what, 25?
Yeah, but 5 years. I mean, 5 years younger.
No, it's huge.
It's still big. I think this guy could be really good for you. But if he's going to go anywhere, just go to the East Coast. Like, just go to an American League team, please.
I agree.
Don't go to the Dodgers. Don't go to the Giants. Don't go to, you're a Padres fan. What you want is this guy to just go as far away as possible.
75 and 30 in Japan, a career 1.72 ERA.
Is that good?
75 and 30 with a 1.82 ERA. It's very good. Very good. Last year at a 1.21. All All right, on the other side, actually,
those
right
are
now,
nice.
caller 7, you've got 2 free tickets to San Diego State St. Catherine. Caller 7, 844-570-1360. This is tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Caller 7, they're yours. 844-570-1360. Jim's back page next. All right, developing station news. Just a tidbit we want to share on the other side, plus Jim's back page next. All right. Does anyone want to do something they've never done before? You can do it right now by calling. We have a new phone number.
Dude, this is going to be so hard to remember.
We have a new phone number.
Darren and Marty,
it might take a little while.
They're screwed.
But who wants to just call? Brent might not even pick up. But the new phone number is this: 877.
Oh, you call
767-4760. I like that 4760. It's 877-767-4760.
877-477.
No,
wait.
877-767-4760.
877.
Who wants to try it? See if it works.
760.
We're just gonna have to do like we used to when we used to have the number up in the
Yeah,
corner.
we got to put that up.
Oh, man.
Huge bold lettering.
Massive bold numbers. I'll change it on the YouTube stream too.
Oh, first caller of all time.
Ask him, Brent. Ask this caller if they called the new number.
And let's get his name. Let's get him on the air.
You don't have to put him on air.
We could get him on the air.
I just want to know. Is
the
it the
first
new number?
ever caller to 877-767-4760.
Lines are lighting up. Lines are lighting up.
Who is it? He hung up.
Or she.
Okay. Well, that was exciting.
Wow, we did it.
But beginning tomorrow, I'm going to start pushing 877-767-4760, and we're going to screw that up a lot.
Yeah, we are.
We should have put that in the back page.
We just did. Kind of.
Let's get to it.
Remember the Spike Lee gold?
Yes, I told
Jordans
someone that this weekend.
That we talked about last week that were found in a shelter.
Yes.
They were recently just put up for auction. They sold over the weekend. So these sneakers, 2019 Spike Lee sneakers for the Oscars, were found at a rescue shelter. And they sold over the weekend for guess how much? And if you saw it, Brent,
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
$13,391.
That's specific. 5,000.
$50,000.
Because of, and now has the story changed?
I think the story's changed it.
Yeah.
I think knowing that these are custom made Jordan 3s.
Did Spike buy them back?
Or Jordan 4s, excuse me.
Well, that'd be interesting.
I don't know. Doesn't say who.
Spike's like, I was looking for them damn things for years.
Did not say who bought it.
Okay.
It just said that it sold at the for the auction that it was up for $50,000, $50,800.
Wow.
Official number.
More than I would have paid.
Yeah.
By about $50,800.
I know. I asked this to you during one of the breaks. I'm like, John, you know what Prime is?
Yeah, of course. You get the free shipping.
No. Like the drink Prime.
I've never heard of the drink Prime.
Oh, that's the stupid Paul Brothers energy drink, isn't it?
It's the energy drink. It's actually not bad. It's actually kind of tasty.
Okay.
To be honest with you. But over the weekend, they made a pretty substantial endorsement signing of a certain player in sports. I know I told you who it is.
Brent, you guess.
Any idea
what sport?
Football.
Football. Could be NIL, could be pro.
Could be any
Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I was going to guess that actually.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I was.
Do we know the terms or anything?
I don't
Like, does he get an ownership or
for
percentage of the company?
Like that to me, for that company is massive.
For any company,
Any
right?
company.
Nike Mahomes is a big deal.
Usually you would say, all right, Nike, you would say Nike Mahomes, Gatorade Mahomes.
Yeah, sure.
Because Gatorade's the top of the list.
Yeah.
But for this company, say what you want about Logan Paul, douche, whatever. But just the company, hey, they signed Patrick Mahomes over the weekend.
So you said Gatorade does $7 billion in sales a year.
Correct.
This company does in the $500-600 million.
And they've already only been around for 2 or 3 years.
That's amazing. So I'm wondering, are they is this a financial hey, you're getting, I'm making up $2 million a year, or are you getting 2% or 10%?
I don't know.
Because their growth potential, that's my point. If they go from 500 million to 5 billion and he owns 5%.
When you go from when you go for 2 years and you're already as a company 600 million in sales.
Yeah.
They'll sell it within 2 years.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
Well, that's what Fiddy did with vitamin water.
Yeah.
You know, he waited till vitamin water is worth a gajillion dollars, and
then
he's
you
like,
get paid off.
Then he sold it.
True, but
if they sell this thing for $2-3 billion,
this is the growth of this company is insane.
Yeah,
all right now
him and his brother can only fight washed up UFC fighters for so long.
They got to
True.
sell drinks. That's a great point.
Look, Jake Paul actually fought a boxer this past weekend and
Did he?
knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah, like 30 seconds.
I didn't even realize he was fighting somebody.
Okay.
But he fought like a legit boxer and knocked him out in like 50 seconds.
And then did he drink his?
Well, he's
drink?
not a part of that. Actually, it's just.
I can't keep these guys.
There's only two of them.
I know.
And finally, this is the biggest news of the day in the movie world, John.
Okay.
Jonathan Majors, who was found guilty today of assault and harassment following his arrest in March, has now been fired by Marvel. As
What was
Kang.
his? What?
Kang?
Who? Like
Kang?
King Kang?
Kang? Kang?
What does
He's
he
the
do?
big bad.
He's a bad guy.
He's like the Thanos of the next stage of the Marvel universe.
He's
And they-
supposed to be.
They created this whole universe. that-
Thanos, not Spanos.
I don't get it. So is he back or is he out?
I just
He's
said he was
out.
fired.
Who's fired? So now what are they going to do? Show's over.
I don't know.
They don't know yet.
They got to pivot.
Jake Paul. Logan Paul. What's this guy look like? Just find someone that looks like him. Has he been in
Now
other?
like the Paul brothers.
Has he been in other movies
he really
before?
looks like Logan Paul.
Has he been in other movies before with Spanos?
No, but he's been in Marvel movies, and they set it up for the future to have him like star in his own movie, and actually already named a movie after him.
So are they going to delay this
Well,
movie?
did you see they changed that, Jim?
To
Because
what?
now they're just referring to it as Avengers 5. They're
Oh,
no
wow.
longer calling it the Kang
Oh.
Dynasty. It's just Avengers 5.
Wow,
That came out like an hour ago.
What a
Wow.
bad day for Marvel.
it really is actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
So when was this supposed to come out?
Like in 2 years.
Is it going to be delayed? Or do
Yeah.
they have enough time?
Well,
No, they're going to change
it
a lot of
depends
things.
what they do
Oh.
with it.
It's because he was found guilty of what? Abuse?
And-
Harassment and
yeah.
abuse, even though there was video of him, and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But anyway,
Okay.
he's
you
running
missed
away
it-
from her.
No.
I don't get it.
If you missed it, did we see the entirety of the
Yes,
evidence?
You did.
All right. SportsSD.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us on YouTube. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim. JONANDJIM. We have a brand new phone number for tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760. Okay. Bye.